Should animals have the same rights as humans?
My argument about animals has its origins in my doctoral research. In my doctoral thesis, I tried to answer the question of why it is wrong to kill individuals like you and I. Now, that seems like a trivial question, right? We all agree that it is seriously morally wrong to kill people like you and me. But interestingly, I think there is no explanation in the philosophical literature of why that is. And that got me thinking about certain fundamental issues in ethics. Now, as I said, most of us agree that killing one person is just as seriously wrong as killing any other person. And that is because we believe that we are all equal in a sense, in the sense that we all matter the same, right? That we all count the same. So here I'm just talking about human beings so far. Now, the philosophical problem is to explain why that is. Why is it that we all count the same, that we are all equal in that important moral sense? Given that in so many ways we are not equal, right? Some of us are stronger than others, some of us are more talented than others, some of us are more intelligent than others, and so on. There's really not much um, in which we are equal as an empirical matter. So that is the philosophical problem that I try to address in my dissertation. Now, interestingly, to connect this to animals, if you ask people why they think that animals have a lesser moral status, they will appeal to those very qualities, right? They will say animals are not rational, they're less intelligent, and so on, which is curious, right? We don't think those differences in rationality, intelligence, talent, and so on matter among people. But when asked to justify why we treat animals as lesser beings, we appeal to those very qualities. So that's quite curious. Now, I think there's one thing that all of us do have in common. There is one empirical quality that we all have equally, and that is an appropriate basis for our moral equality, and that is the fact that we are conscious. Now, in a sense, of course, consciousness varies just as much as those other empirical properties I've been talking about, intelligence and so on, right? Some of us have a richer experience uh, than others. Some of us have more sophisticated thoughts um, than others, and so on. So if you think about the contents of our experiences, there is great variety among people as well, just like there's variety in rationality, talent, and so on. However, there's another sense, and I think that sense is important, in which we are equally conscious. We're equal in that all of us equally have a unique point of view. We all have what is sometimes called a subjectivity. We are all centers of consciousness. We are someone's rather than some things. And that is equally true of all of us, right? You have a certain view on the world. There's someone at home in you, so to say. You're a center of consciousness, a subjectivity, and so am I. So that is equally true of you, me, and anybody else. And I think philosophically, that's the only or the most promising basis of moral equality that I can think of. Now, if the capacity for consciousness is the basis of our moral equality, what grounds our equal rights and so on, then certain animals must be afforded the same rights, the same equality, for the same reasons if we want to be logically consistent, right? If you and I are morally equal and therefore have certain rights, because we are equally centers of consciousness, because we're equally subjects with a unique point of view, then animals who have a unique point of view and who are subjects and out of consciousness must be recognized as our equals with certain fundamental rights as well for the same reason. And as it turns out, there are many such animals. While it is not clear scientifically where exactly to draw the line, we have very strong evidence that at least mammals, birds, probably reptiles, amphibians, are conscious beings just like us, and in my opinion, therefore, deserve the same, some of the same rights we have. Now, the tagline here says, should animals have the same rights as humans? Now, nobody believes that all animals should have the very same rights we do. Animal rights advocates don't advocate for voting rights for dogs or for the right of snakes to gain admission to university. Those are not the rights we're talking about. We are talking about fundamental rights that protect interests that are essential to a being's welfare, such as the right to life and the right to bodily integrity. So, those very fundamental rights that are immediate expressions of our moral equality.